What is up, everybody? You are checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, the Hot Commodity Can't See, joined by my own Hot Commodity Ant as we cover all things Attitude Years. We're in season 3, covering the new millennium, and today we have made it to WWF Backlash 2000, live in Washington, D.C. We're finally in the spring months of 2000. But before we dive into the pay-per-view, let's talk about everything that was happening in the U.S. in the month of April of 2000 regarding music. So let's go over the top 10 movies of April 2000. Number 10 is Romeo Must Die, which is still lives in our March 2000 category there. Number 9 is Final Destination, still on the list. Number 8 is Return to Me, which I had never heard of. It says it's a man who falls in love with the woman who has received his wife's heart must decide which woman it is who holds his heart. That's with David Duchovny, Minnie Driver, Carol O'Connor from All in the Family. He's in it. Return to Me. Next, we have 7, Keeping the Faith. That's with Ben Stiller and Edward Norton. 2 friends, a priest and a rabbi, fall in love with the same woman they knew in their youth, but their religious position of both men denies them romance. Interesting. Number 6, I haven't seen like any of these. The Skulls with Joshua Jackson.
I've heard of that. It's about a sorority.
Yeah,
I mean a fraternity.
Josh Jackson, Paul Walker, Leslie Bibb.
Okay.
A senior at an Ivy League college who depends on scholarships and working on the side gets accepted into the secret society, the Skulls. He hopes it betters chances at Harvard, but the Skulls is not what he thought and comes out of grace. Next, 28 Days. I don't think I've seen that. It's with Sandra Bullock. A big city newspaper columnist is forced to enter a drug and alcohol rehab center after ruining her sister's wedding and crashing a stolen limo. So it's Sandra Bullock.
28 I want to see that. I've seen
Sandra Bullock, Viggo Mortensen, Dominic West, Elizabeth Perkins. Okay. Number 4 is U571. I don't think I've ever even heard of that. 7 I'm looking at what it is. Matthew McConaughey and Bill Paxton. A German submarine is boarded by disguised American submariners trying to capture their Enigma cipher machine. Matthew McConaughey, Bill Paxton, Harvey Keitel. Never saw it. John Bond.
It was called 28 Days, that movie?
That movie with Sandra Bullock was 28 Days. The next movie I'm talking about is U571.
Okay, I did find it. Okay.
Next, we have number 3, The Road to El Dorado. That's a cartoon. I remember it when I was little. They used to sell like the Burger King hat toys.
Yeah,
El Dorado.
They have those for a while.
Number 2, Erin Brockovich, which is a famous movie. I still haven't seen it yet. And the number 1 movie of April 2000.
I can find Erin Brockovich so you can watch it.
Is Rules of Engagement. An attorney defends an officer on trial for ordering his troops to fire on civilians after they stormed a U.S. embassy in a Middle Eastern country. And that is with Tommy Lee Jones, Samuel L. Jackson, Guy Pearce, Ben Kingsley. Yeah. So those are the top 10 movies of April 2000. Haven't seen a lot of them, but they're the biggest blockbusters of April. Moving on to the top 10 songs of April 2000. Number 10 is Get It On Tonight by Montel Jordan. Number 9 is Everything You Want by Vertical Horizon. Number 8, It Feels So Good by Sony. I think I know that one.
Okay, got it.
Number 7, I Try by Macy Gray, which I love that song. 6 is Amazed by Lone Star. 5 is The Thong Song. I forgot the name of that singer. Cisco. Acts Like a Truck. Number 4, Bye 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 by NSYNC. Number 3 is Say My Name by Destiny's Child. 2 is Breathe by Faith Hill. And what do you think is the #1 song of April 2000?
No.
It's a Spanish singer.
Santana.
Mhm.
Maria.
Maria. She reminds me of a West Side Story. Yes, those are the top 10 songs and movies of April 2000. And one important event that happened in April that I thought was noteworthy was on April 14th, Metallica sues Napster for releasing songs. This is when artists started to want to get paid, obviously, for their work, and civilians were getting it for free. But that all ended. Thanks.
Now everything's on YouTube.
Now everything's on YouTube.
I don't know how they all make money now.
Well, let's move on to what you all are here for, WWF Backlash 2000.
It's on Peacock. Somebody know.
Aaron Brockovich. So let's cover Backlash. We have Deborah coming out to the ring. Her husband, Stone Cold Steve Austin, is supposed to be showing up later tonight. She comes out to announce the next match. WWF Tag Champions Edge and Christian defending against DX with Tori. Road Dogg drops Christian across the ropes to start the match. Edge lands a flying headbutt to Road Dogg for 2. Christian lands a double reverse CDT, and Edge lands a sit-out powerbomb to X-Pac for a 2. X-Pac accidentally hits Tori. Edge rolls up X-Pac for a 2 count. X lands an X-Factor, X meaning X-Pac. X-Pac lands an X-Factor to Edge. Christian ends up hitting X-Pac with the ring bell. X-Pac is busted open, and the Edge and Christian retain the tag team titles, defeating DX. What did you think of this match here?
It was good. It was good. This was like I said, even though this wasn't like a real high card match, like I don't know, this pay-per-view just had a different feeling. Like I thought it was better than WrestleMania. Yeah. And it was a good match to start with. It was like, you know, it wasn't the most exciting, but
and you predicted Edge and Christian.
Yeah. I didn't think they were going to make them drop the belts already.
I was surprised though that they had X-Pac lead that bad just for that last moment.
Yeah, I almost wonder maybe he wasn't supposed to.
I don't think he was. I mean, I think he might have busted himself a little bit, but just for that pinfall to have him bleed like that, and the blood was around the ring for the rest of the night. But
what did he hit him with?
The bell.
Yeah, I mean they're wooden and steel, so.
The Rock arrives backstage. We then have WWF Light Heavyweight Champion Dean Malenko defending against Scotty to Hotty. Dean lands a low drop kick, and then he attacks the leg of Scotty to Hotty. Dean then spears Scotty to the floor. Dean then lands a back suplex. Scotty hits a bulldog, the worm. Dean Malenko rose up Scotty using the ropes. The referee catches that. And then Dean drops Scotty across the ropes and lands a super DDT off the top rope, and Dean Malenko retains the Light Heavyweight Championship. How about your thoughts on this match? Really? You didn't like this match?
It was fine, but he just sucks. I don't like him. He's just not exciting.
Yeah, he's boring. I like him. This match was okay. It was one of the top matches of 2000, which I didn't know why, but it was decent.
Who did they fight?
Scotty too high.
Oh, yeah. No, this was not one of the top. Definitely. It was a good match, actually. Like they had you going. Like it was pin after pin after pin. It was good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't one of the top matches.
Hear you. We see the McMahon Helmsley regime backstage, and Pat Patterson and Drill Briscoe is with them. They agree to work with them going forward. So Vince says tonight, all hands on deck.
All hands. Because he knows they they're not really bad. That's why he's pushing it, see if they're loyal.
Okay. Next, we have the Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan versus the Acolytes. Farouk slams Big Boss Man to the ring steps. Bull Buchanan lands a springboard clothesline to Farouk. Let's see. Big Boss Man hits Bradshaw with a nightstick, and Bull Buchanan lands a super scissors kick. And Bull Buchanan, the Big Boss Man, get the win with some help of that trusty nightstick. What did you think?
I don't know what to say about Bull Buchanan's nightstick.
I bet it's long and big and hard.
Probably.
That's why it hurts when you get hit with it.
Oh.
Bradshaw.
I really don't like Big Boss Man, but it was okay. I like APA and I like to see them kick people's ass. And except for the ending, they did.
I was surprised to see Boss Man Buchanan win here. I thought they were going to lose the Acolytes,
but I mean, I did kind of think it would turn out that way because they're trying to make Bull Buchanan something. The Acolytes are already like over and have their thing, so they needed to win. Yeah. If it was Boss Man against one of them or Boss Man and somebody else, definitely not. But they were trying to make Bull Buchanan look like he was something when he wasn't.
Hardcore champion Crash Holly defends against Tazz, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Hardcore Holly, and Perry Saturn. I wasn't a big fan of this hardcore match. I know they did a lot of cool stuff, but these matches just don't do it for me. Crash gets the win. He pins Tazz to retain the title. The Houdini of hardcore escapes again. Champ.
I like having Crash hardcore.
It's
funny, and he does a good job at
it. He does. What were your thoughts on the match? I didn't really pay attention to it, really.
No.
Basic, right?
They were just like using the entrance.
The cool ones. Talk about that. I like that entrance.
As the wrestlers walk out, they have these huge steel hooks that are made out of the stuff that usually is on the ceiling that holds the lights, like that tracking. So
yeah, that was cool the way it went back and forth, kind of like a pendulum. Next we have Kurt Angle versus the Big Show.
I think it was supposed to be like whips like that.
Oh, I see. The backlash from the things. Okay, cool. See, that's why I like having the hot companies explain some things I didn't know.
Every once in a while, I got something good to say.
So Kurt Angle takes on the Big Show. Big Show is dressed up like Hulk Hogan, and he's going by the Showster.
Hey, he needs to not ever wear that fucking.
You could see everything.
You could see every little inch of his manhood.
He was proud of it. Big Show lands a leg drop for a 2. Angle slaps Big Show, which causes Big Show to get pissed. Big Show lands a choke slam, and Big Show defeats Kurt Angle in a relatively quick match here. Thoughts? What do you think of the Big Show's like? I'm making fun of these people. I'm being in Hollywood. I'm this gimmick right now.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's like he needs something. Like the Big Show's boring, So like I kind of like that.
Okay. I think it's kind of
it's hokey.
Yeah, it makes him look stupid though, because it's like if he was smaller, maybe, but
it makes it. Well, that's the whole funny thing about it is like no matter who he dresses up as, he doesn't look like them because he's a huge fucking giant. But the thing is that like he can snap out of it and become that mean Big Show and choke slam somebody to hell, whenever he wants. So it's like, you kind of got to put up with it because if not, you're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that I don't like about this is that he just
was in here right now. He wouldn't say that to him.
I sure wouldn't. But I feel like he just came from a WrestleMania main event, being this big, strong, and now it's like, okay, I'm gonna go to Hollywood, and then it's like, I will tell you, this gimmick doesn't last. That's why I just like it's stupid. It's just like, all right. Next, we have the Dudley Boyz versus TNA with Trish Stratus. For weeks, Bubba has been trying to put Trish through a table. Will he be able to do that tonight? We'll see. Tess lands a gut wrench power bomb. Devon lands a swinging neck breaker to Tess. Albert lands a sit-out powerbomb to Devon for a 2. Trish Stratus distracts Bubba Ray Dudley, which allows Tess to land a big boot, and TNA get the victory. Afterwards, the Dudleys hit a 3D to Albert. Trish makes out with Bubba, but then Bubba grabs her. He lands a super powerbomb to Trish off the top rope through a table, and Trish gets stretchered out, and he says, I got you, you bitch. So what'd you think of that?
I liked it. Everybody wanted to see her.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good match. And you better learn her lesson. I love Trish, but
Thou shall not fuck with the Dudley boys.
Dudley boys, nah, but Trish Stratus though, I would let her fuck with me.
Well, most people
with a broken table too.
Yeah.
Splinters and everything. But he finally did it. He finally powerbombed Trish through a table, and I think she'll not mess with Dudley's again. I hope not.
You better not break his name.
We see China and European champion Eddie Guerrero arrive in their lowrider just leaving prom. He's in a tuxedo, China's in her prom dress, and Eddie will now defend the European title against Essa Rios with Lita. Essa dives, but Eddie moves, and Essa lands on the floor. China pushes Lita off the top rope to the floor. Essa lands a springboard moonsault to Eddie. Eddie superplexes Essa, lands a brainbuster for a 2. Essa lands a super arm drag, and then Eddie Guerrero lands an airplane spin neck breaker. Eddie Guerrero retains the European title after Lita strips China of her prom dress, and Lita in China is wearing light blue.
China is going to
panties.
block her.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, Lita wasn't playing with her. I mean, they lost the match, but Lita got the dress off of China, and the fans were happy about that. What do you think, though? What do you think? Did you like seeing China like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked good. Playboy's coming soon. Next, Intercontinental Champion Chris Benoit defends against Chris Jericho. Jericho compares Benoit to a politician and says he's going to beat his ass tonight. Benoit lands 2 German suplexes, a back suplex to Chris Jericho to the floor. Jericho lands a lion salt for a 2. Jericho misses a springboard drop kick, but then Jericho lands a back suplex off the top to Benoit. 2 power bombs to Benoit for a 2 count. Chris Benoit hits Jericho with the Intercontinental title, and then a suplex onto the belt. Benoit goes for a flying headbutt, but Jericho moves, and Chris Benoit lands on top of the Intercontinental title, giving Benoit the DQ victory after Jericho applies the walls of Jericho on the referee. So Jericho got screwed over here in this match. Benoit walks out champion still. What do you think?
I definitely wanted Jericho. Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen? Do you think he's going to try to go for it again, or do you think he's done? Do you think
he Intercontinental or the European?
Intercontinental?
Yeah, sure.
Do you think he should have gotten DQ'd though? I mean, it wasn't his fault that the belt was there.
No, the belt wouldn't even been there.
Benoit never had it. Yeah.
But as we know, the ref can't see everything.
And I hope that ref fucking got what was coming to him with that Walls of Jericho.
Yeah.
Bullshit. All right, we've made it to our main event, WWF Champion Triple H with Women's Champion Stephanie McMahon-Helmsley and Vince McMahon defending against The Rock with special guest referee Shane McMahon. And Vince gets on the mic and says, on the inside of this program, it says the card is subject to change. Stone Cold Steve Austin will not be here tonight. So Rock attacks Triple H to start. Vince tosses The Rock into the ring post. Both Triple H and Rock land a double clothesline. Vince hits The Rock with the WWF title. He gets a 2 count. Rock lands a low blow to Triple H, and Rock hits a rock bottom to both Shane and Triple H through an announce table, which looked cool. Yeah. Vince hits The Rock from behind. Triple H lands a low blow and a pedigree. Pat Patterson and Joe Briscoe run out and attack The Rock. Vince hits The Rock with a steel chair. And then as Triple H is about to pedigree The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out with a steel chair of his own. He hits Triple H, Patterson, Briscoe, Shane, and Vince, all with steel chair shots. He then again hits Triple H with a chair. Linda McMahon comes out with Earl Hebner. She pushes Stephanie down to the floor. Rock lands
very viciously.
Yes. Rock lands a spine buster, people's elbow, and we have a new WWF champion in The Rock. After Austin toasts with The Rock. What did you think?
Fucking fine. This is like the 10th time he's tried.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
He gets it. Do you think he's going to hold on to it for long?
I think it might ping pong back and forth, but I hope he has it for at least 2 or 3 months.
And what do you think about Austin coming back and helping Rock? They don't get along at all.
Yeah,
so
that's not good. Honestly, I thought Austin was going to come back and turn.
Yeah, we kept saying that.
But I'm sure.
I will say we won't see Austin again for a while after this. He's not back fully.
He doesn't come back the next night.
I don't think so. He doesn't come back fully yet. We will see him later on. But what do you think is The next pay-per-view is Judgment Day. So what do you think is gonna happen?
Judgment Day must be. I'm hoping it'll be good.
You keep saying that every pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's good. That's like.
Okay. So what do you think is gonna happen? You think Undertaker? What else? What do you think is gonna happen with The Rock?
The Rock's probably gonna have to. I'm sure Triple H will get a rematch. Unless somebody fits with somebody else. I don't know. Hopefully, you want to see people get rematches, but it does get tiring and sitting back. So, hopefully, Benoit will lose again. I don't like him as champion. He has like no personality.
Like a robot. Yeah. There's your photo provide. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see if those predictions come true. Crash. Yeah.
And, I don't know. I like Edge and Christian and everything, but I kind of want to see something.
They'll get better. They're like gimmick, and they're like they get better. They get funny. Yeah. Well, we're gonna be covering the month of May. We've covered all of April. We've got Raw, SmackDown.
It's in 2001 soon.
Yeah.
Now, we're gonna get Progress.
It's 2002.
Are there any
01 sees the invasion.
from the next date?
No. X doesn't start.
At least
And one of the greatest WrestleMania in my eyes, WrestleMania 17, is next year too. So, well, with that, check us out on YouTube. Leave a comment, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. What was your favorite match or moment from Backlash 2000? Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, stay safe and stay uncensored.